Hey everybody, this week's episode, we're with the world famous Dan Patrick, Hall of Famer. We're going to get to know some of the behind the scenes, how he got started. So tell us a little bit, you were probably a rambunctious kid. Tell us how you got started with the pulling and all of that.
Well, pulling in my family come from a large farming family back then. If you wanted to be in motorsports, any kind of motorsports, you had to be in tractor pulling because that's what the family did. It's what the community did from the rural area I'm from. And so when you are raking hay when you're 10 years old, you act like you're pulling, and of course then Dad comes home and sees skid marks out in the field, things get a little different. But that's what they did. My uncle and my dad pulled tractors back in the county fairs in the 50s and the 60s.
Okay.
And so my first time pulling was when I was in between my 8th grade and freshman year. I pulled at the Pickaway County Fair, my dad's 4010 John Deere tractor. And then that was when you'd used farm tractors and you went in and you pulled. Then it became more specialized. The V8 motors came in. So my first tractor of my own was a Cockshut 40 with a 396 Chevy in it, and so it just kind of started from there. And by the time I was done pulling tractors in 1983, I was had twin supercharged Chevys, big tires, multiple engine tractors. Then I got in later into the two-wheel drive funny cars.
Now, about how far did you travel in the beginning there?
In the beginning, you just went in the state of Ohio. Then all the states had such a large, you could pull in the summer between Memorial Day and Labor Day 3-4 times a week anywhere in the state of Ohio.
Okay.
And back then you might pull 2 different classes a night.
Okay.
And so we would pull a 5,000 pound modified class to 7,000 pound. And so you ran all year, or you ran until you broke something, then you were done and fixed it the winter and do that. Then later on then when I started traveling the country back when U.S. Hot Rod just started up, and they would pay us to come pull, and that was a lot better.
And that was when you built the funny cars, right?
Built the funny cars, and the first one was '84, was a Warlord. And that went over very well. And that was our first toy contract with Play School, and then so the next year I did another funny car. It was called the Red Baron, which is a Corvette. And then in '86 is when I got hooked up with Tom McEwen, Tom the Mongoose McEwen, the drag racing legend. And I did that 87, 88, and then, 86, 87. And then we sold the Warlord car, the funny car, and we built a dragster then, 300-inch wheelbase dragster.
Okay.
They were specialty vehicles, we called them exhibition vehicles. They wanted it to look like it just came off the drag strip, and we pulled the sled with it.
Okay.
And it went really well.
Now, did you drive both cars?
I did.
Okay.
Back then, you could have 3 or 4 vehicles, and you drove every one of them.
Okay.
So, you might drive all the way to Seattle, Washington for a 30-second ride. You just hook to the sled, you did it, they pay thank you, and you go home. You drive 4 days, go back home. So the first year in '83, when I considered being a professional puller, I did 29 events throughout the country.
Wow. Okay. So then, how did the dragster deal? Was that better than the funny car, or it was pretty much all the same? It
wasn't as fun as the funny car. The funny car was about a 12-second ride. It was a 125-inch wheelbase. The car weighed 6,200 pounds. And pulling, the only thing about pulling is you want to transfer weight to the back, get the front tires off the ground, and go. The dragster with 300-inch wheelbase, I thought it would go better, but the problem is it took so long to transfer the weight back, and so it wasn't that enjoyable. And the other thing, you set it clear out in the middle of it, and when you drop the front end down, it was a little tough. So, but I only ran that for about 4 months.
Oh, okay.
And then I ended up selling it I decided, my wife, I had a family member die, and my wife was really struggling, and I thought it was time for me to get off the road. And so I sold the funny car, I sold the dragster to Mike Hoff, who had the Chi-Town Hustler at the time.
Yeah.
And then he ended up selling it to somebody in Canada, and they parted it out and made a two-wheel drive truck out of it.
Okay. So now you went from that. I'm sure you were exposed to monster trucks because they were kind of another added attraction along with what you were doing.
Well, the monster trucks, my first experience with monster trucks is when I got to be good friends with Jim Kramer and Kenny Kelling. When, back when I was pulling in 83 and 84, they were coming in and just doing exhibition car crush stuff. So I rode with Jim one time in Long Beach, and, because I just, what's fascination with the crowd, just, the cameras going. The promoter, Bob George, was the founder of US Hot Rod. He called it the light show. That's how he figured on what people like is when they come out and the cameras went off, and he said that's how he distinguished whether it was a hit or not.
Okay.
So I rode with Jim once, and it's back when you drove over the ends of the car, and we did that.
That's a better answer.
This is it.
Rap attack.
I could do this with my tractor at home.
Yeah.
My 4-wheel drive farm tractor can do this, but they're not going to pay me to do that.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So then you met them, and then how did you end up getting into the monster truck world after that?
Well, my ride into the monster truck world was I was very good friends with Nan Maples.
Okay.
That built the original Samson truck. And we traveled together, and we traveled a lot, and we were very, very good friends. And when I decided to quit traveling and was selling some stuff off, he called one night, and he wanted to buy my enclosed trailer. Well, enough it fit in there, and you have to know Don, Southern man, short, or just a long, drawled out, he's just soft voice, but he's just a hoot. I mean, just an absolute hoot. And every story he tells, it just tears you up. I mean, he's lived. He's one of those guys. Example, don't do this.
Yeah.
Don't try this. Okay. So he wanted to know if it would fit and all that. And then he was telling me his frustrations with the industry at the time and all that, how the politics, monster trucks were really kind of, and this was in '88, so by the time the conversation was over, I traded him my '85 S10 Blazer and $42,000 for his truck. And when I got off the phone, my wife said, "Did you get rid of that trailer?" I said, "No, I'm going to have to use it." And so I bought Samson 2, and she says, "Well, we really could have used the money for the trailer." But we did that, and the deal with Don is he had 4 shows, and it came with bookings. That was the kind of the cool thing about it. It came with 4 bookings for like $10,000 in like the next week.
Okay.
And so I thought, well, that's going to bring it down. And it was well built, and everything was new on it. And so we went to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he was supposed to drive it for those 4 shows. Then I was going to learn to drive it, and then later and do it. So we get to Pittsburgh, and he unloads it off the trailer and gets it all done and get ready for the show. And I said, well, I'm going to go up there and sit down. He said, oh, no. He says, you gave me the check. It's yours. And I go, you said you're supposed to drive. No, you're going to learn now. And so I didn't have a driving suit. So he had a jacket and a helmet and stuff. So my experience was driving it in the building. And when I pulled up to the cars and back, I was terrified. It was a mud run, and Kenny Kelling was there and stuff. And I asked him, and so I did it. We had 4 cars on each side. You went down around it like a Chicago style. You went over the track and back, and so when I pulled up to the cars and backed up, I was thinking, I said, I wonder if I could stop payment on that check right now. I said, son, you have got your head so far up on this deal. I hit the cars and it hurt. I hit the ground and it hurt. And I went back around, it just hurt. He had a $20 van seat in it,
boy.
Not even a high back with a four point, Don was not big on safety. So just a 4-point harness on him. Of course, when you landed, the seat mushed down, the belts were loose, you just flopped everywhere. And so when I got out of the truck, guys, oh, that was great. I go, hey, you know, and so it started from that.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
and, yeah, it had to get better. And
Oh,
it
yeah.
did.
So hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Next week we'll have some more with Dan. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button and all that good stuff. See you next week.